still we can do it. Yes. Thank you very much. The heart contracts and relaxes, pumping blood to the rest of the body. If all the blood vessels in the body are connected, it can go around the world. The heart makes a deep bass sound with each contraction and relaxation. Even though I can't hear my own heartbeat, when I put my ear to someone else's chest, it goes thump, 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 tirelessly. I can feel a pretty clear pulse when I put my hand on the thin skinned part of my neck. You can also feel the pulse at the extremities of the body. Bring the tip of your fingers of both hands together. Touch all 5 fingertips of both of your hands. If you form a mountain with the index fingers of your left and right hands, you can feel the pulse beating in the same rhythm. The limbs have the same rhythmic pulse from the heart to their extremities, even though they are far from the trunk. Therefore, this body is alive. Grandma's cerebral arteries swell and burst like a balloon. The blood that is supposed to bring oxygen to the brain has nowhere to go. A machine that widens blood vessels in the brain could prolong life. Once the machine that kept your pulse steady was removed, pulse dropped significantly. But as the ventilator breathed in, the body forces sent blood to all parts of the body, to an already failing stomach, liver, and gallbladder. It's been 5 days now, and her pulse remains at 50. 3 days later, she was declared brain dead. She had 5 children, and every family member, including an aunt living in the USA, gathered in Cheongju. In her records, she had written that she did not want life prolongation care. I went to Cheongju University Hospital knowing I was not allowed to see her. Big aunt brought my life log for my grandma to let the hospital know her decision about life prolongation treatment. Her records of happy memories were filled with so many cliched expressions of gratitude, but nothing about things that made her angry or sad. Bank account information is secret until the day I die. And I want to leave my piano, violin, and writing brush. Grandpa had dementia for over 10 years. By then, it had been going for so long that not only he couldn't remember me, but also he could only remember how his 5 children looked like in the past. Even though Grandpa used to spend more than an hour in the bathroom because he kept forgetting that he washed his face, Grandma refused to send him to the nursing home. It must have been difficult for her to take care of him for 10 years, and for that, she's been always a proud woman who cared about the eyes of others. But there are no records of such bitter stories. A stranger would have never known that he had dementia. Like that, Grandma wanted to allow herself memories only those pretty and nice to her eyes. Who would you be most happy to see or call? My son. At the time, because of COVID, only 4 relatives were allowed to be by her deathbed. Glances of withholding are among the 5 children. It was the big aunt whom my grandma called when she was collapsing. It was the big aunt who took care of Grandma most of the time, since everybody else in the family lived in other cities, but she still lived in Cheongju, where she grew up. But when the nurse said that one of the family members should remain outside of the ICU, Big Aunt was the first to say she has to be the one who stays outside of the intensive care unit. Every aunt had a reason to stay outside. One was that I took care of Mom least of us. And one was that, in the opposite, I saw Mom sick for the most of us. My uncle also stressed that he should be the one, but Aunt unanimously claimed that he must be by the deathbed. one likes you the most. It says that the ear is the last sense to lose while being unconscious. So you should be the one who goes inside and thank her. In the end, Big Up stayed outside. There was another odd thing in my grandma's log. There were traces of writing behind photos. We looked out to see what was written under it, and there was a statement about inheritance. The house goes to the first son. I believe I raised my kids well to not having arguments about it. It is best to have peace inside. Her tone was quite assertive. If she was so sure about it, why did she try to hide it? She used to have tidy handwriting, but only this she scribbled. When does the farewell begin? Big Aunt is pacing at the door of the ICU. The sign said it is a restricted area, but almost half of the time it's just open because there are so many nurses coming and going. She looks inside the ICU through the open door. After the cerebral artery burst, the rest of the brain cannot function without a machine. Giving a life-sustaining treatment means turning off the machine that keeps blood vessels running. It is said that turning off the life support machine would lead to medical deaths and as little as a day and as long as 2 weeks. My family went back to normal days while my grandma was medically surviving. A week later, we drove back to Cheongju to attend the funeral. On the second day of my grandma's funeral, we had a visit from a Buddhist monk in the morning, since she used to be a Buddhist, and a pastor in the afternoon, because my family is Christian. In the morning, the monk brought 4 bodhisattvas and told them she was going to read the Dharma Sutra, which advises the dead to abandon the vanity of the body. The monk placed a book and a bell on a table and chanted for an hour. quietly reading the Bible in the corner. The crematorium where I accompanied my parents when I was young showed live footage of deceased coffin burning, and it was shocking to see the family screaming and wailing as they watched it. But they don't do that anymore. Cooling it down and collecting the bones. Each deceased is assigned one small room. The room has a window with a blind. When the alarm sounded that the bones had been collected, the crematorium staff raised the blind for a brief view of the ashes. It was shapeless and too little. I didn't get to see her on her deathbed, and I didn't get to see her in the funeral because I was guarding the money box while all the family members went to see her entering the coffin. So, at that moment, for the first time, it hit me that she wasn't there. I suppose the whole process of funeral is to remind the family over and over again that the deceased is no longer there. Big Aunt burst into tears as soon as she saw the bones. The bones behind the wall were taken into a place to grind into ashes. Shall I proceed? The funeral director asked. While we were waiting, my uncle told me that people used to grind them by hand in a mortar, so the more money you gave them, the faster they would grind them, believe it or not. The process was over in less than 30 seconds, with my uncle's story even more implausible. The ashes were transferred into an urn, and the urn was placed in the hands of the youngest grandson, the youngest male member of the family. When the boy received an urn, he wobbled a bit. His uncle asked him, "Is it hot?" "No, it's heavier than I thought," the boy replied. "It can't be heavy. The ash from a handful of bones." Mom said, "Mom is so light and so cold," as she held the skinny body of my grandma, who had weighed just over 40 kilograms when she was alive. The urn is opened and shown to the family one more time before it is placed in the ossuary. My aunt cried even louder than before. "How come spend your whole life struggling just for this?" On the way home, Dad said, "I don't know why she was crying that much. Her soul has gone to God's kingdom anyway, so there's no need to be sadder just because you saw the ashes of the body. She has gone to the good place, and the rest is there. This doesn't matter." I wonder if some feelings and emotions become wrong the moment you put your whole heart vision. That, of course, is sad, I say. The ashes are more than just a shell. They are traces of grandmother's presence in the world. And just says, it is so. While waiting on the way to the crematorium, a sparrow crashed into the window and fell to the ground. That sparked the sparrow burst. It's not dead. It's shaking. It must have a concussion, he said. Yes. Dad loves animals, but when the funeral director shouted, "Let's move," then everyone went into the crematorium. I followed the others, then turned and went back to find the sparrow sitting in the driveway. I wondered if it was dead, but when I carefully approached it, it seemed dazed but still alert to me. I put my hand in front of its feet and slowly lifted it, and it sat on my hand. It still looked confused, but it had the strength to stand on its own. I set the sparrow down on a nearby bush. Now I think about it, I should have given him a sip of water. After the ashes were taken to the ossuary, we gathered at my big own house to settle up. We took out all the envelopes of money and divided them into which side of the family they came from, except for my youngest aunt, who is now in the United States. We took out the money out of the envelope, wrote the amount above the name of the envelope, and tied the money into million ones. Grandpa was with us at the time. My family did not bring my grandfather to the funeral. They didn't tell him that his wife had died. Only that she had gone to the hospital for a short time and would be back soon. In fact, he didn't seem to realize that someone who was always by his side was missing. He just felt that something was missing. He couldn't even remember if he just washed his face, or what day it was, or whether it was evening or daytime. But he loved to read the sentences in front of him, as he used to read so much. Grandpa's hands were too shaky to write himself, but he still could read most of what was written in Korean. Mom sat next to Grandpa with a ballpoint pen and notebook. 아빠, 뭐 써줄까? 아빠, 이 옷 너무 잘 어울린다. 김영원은 빨간 잘 어울린다. 아빠, 이거 한번 읽어볼래? 김영완은 빨간색이 잘 어울린다. 아빠, 너무 잘했네. 그 다음은? 아빠, 어디 살아? 집에 살지. 아빠, 집 좋아해? 응? 좋아하지. 김영완은 집을 좋아한다. 아빠, 이것도 한번 읽어볼래? The whole page is filled with sentences starting with 김영완은. As my mom counted the money that came to my family, Grandpa read aloud the names on the empty envelopes. 칠성 김영식 고인의 명복을 빕니다. 김성국 하늘교회 담임 목사 고인의 명복을 빕니다. 고인의 명복을 빕니다. 고인의 명복을 빕니다. My grandfather never asked, "Did someone die?" After reading the sentences, "Rest in peace," over and over again. When Grandpa is present, the family reminds him of each person 10 times a day. Dad, what is my name? Dad, I'm your daughter, 김혜경. Dad, who is this? Dad, this is my daughter 김지수. The names will evaporate from his memory within a few seconds. But for the hundredth and thousandth time, she smiles and tells him that my name is Kim Hye-kyung. And my husband, Kim Hong-jin. And my daughter, Kim Ji-su. Grandpa laughs softly when he doesn't understand something. Most of Grandpa's memory has been lost, but what hasn't is the attitude he's had all his life. When my dad put a sock on his feet, he said, "Oh gosh, I don't have any money right now." My mom said, "아빠, 이제 집으로 데려다 줄게." And he said, "내가 가면 너는 어떡하니?" "아빠, 오늘 집에서 자는 거야. 아빠는 아빠 집이 있어." "아니, 나 말고 너는 어떡하니?" "나는? 너도 집에 가지?" 다행이다. "아빠, 내가 집이 없을까봐 걱정했어?" "당연하지. 누구나 집이 있어야지." 너는 내일도 오니? 그럼. 아빠, 나 내일도 올게. 하룻밤만 자면 또 만날 수 있어. It is only partially true.